Hi everyone, welcome to Legends and Lore Season 3, and I'm Anna B. Meyer, and with me as usual is my co-host.
Mike, how you doing, everybody?
I hope, yeah, I'm doing great. I've been waiting for it. It was kind of, I felt like it was a bit too
Yeah,
much,
that
and
was a
then,
long break.
yeah, so
I
we had
just
a good break, and now we're back on our new time, and we have a really cool guest for our first
Well,
episode.
thank you.
Yeah, so please welcome Mr. Jay Scott.
Hello, how's everyone
Hi,
tonight?
Jay.
Yep.
Pleasure to be on the Greyhawk channel. This is my
Mm-hmm.
first time ever on the Greyhawk channel,
Yeah,
believe it or not.
exactly. I've been on your channel, I guess, half a dozen times over the past like 6 months, and for gaming and for a lot of other stuff and so on. So it's awesome to have you here because now you're not busy running things. Now we can actually have you
Yes, we
talk about all
coordinate.
the awesome stuff because
Pick my brain.
yeah, because Jay, I have to kind of make a little bit of an introduction because Jay is one of the most experienced Greyhawk DMs, been running a game forever, and he has a basement that is the envy of every other gamer on the planet. Almost, I know a few
True.
others who have game rooms that are in your kind of your league, so to speak, but those are very far and few between. So please welcome and please introduce yourself a little bit.
All right, well, my name is Jay Scott. That's my real name. But everyone probably knows me as Lord Gazumba. Gazumba is a character in my campaign. He's currently the head of the Order of Ulick, which is the
It's
Knights of the knighthood that my entire campaign is based around.
not like on the
Uh,
shirt.
Oh, thank you. You like
Yeah.
that?
Mm-hmm.
You like
Yep.
Oh
that?
yeah.
I
Yep.
just got this is Brian Blumklotz's logo.
Mm-hmm.
He did for me. I just got these. These are for Gen Con
My
uh,
guy.
Yep.
for me to DM. I got these embroidered on. I have one for Carlos when we DM together in a couple months, and yeah. We have it's been a great ride. I started back when I was like 11, 12, and 78, 79 with my one friend, which Anna knows, Alan,
Mm-hmm.
who plays a lot of the old school characters, and then a couple other friends. So we really got the campaign. I count it as starting the year I started logging adventures, which was 1980. So that's when we um, consider the campaign actually had its start, and that was number one. And this Thursday night will be 854. So
Shoot.
that's where
Wow.
that's where we are as far as
834. That
yes.
oh,
This will be
that.
our 854th adventure, not
Wow.
sessions, because some of those are 4 or 6 weeks
Oh
long. Yeah,
wow, that is
yeah. This is the
amazing. That
854th
makes it even
adventure.
more impressive because
Yeah.
I thought it was sessions, but oh, it's
No, it's
actual adventure.
adventures.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes.
That
Wow.
So,
is, yeah, that is fantastic. So yeah, mm-hmm.
well,
And
thank you.
you run your own kind of tweaked house ruled version of a 1E 2E rule system, if you understand correctly.
Yes, and to go back to the start, we were 1E, and then 1983 came along, and Arthur Cana came out and
Yeah.
had some great things in it, and it had some terrible things in it. Like, we can go over those, but like the Cavalier and the Dragon magazine was excellent,
Mm-hmm.
and then this Cavalier came out and after Canada, like, what did they do to it? All
Yeah.
that stuff.
So
So there's
so
a so and that's where the basis came. And then Tui, we incorporated some Tui, and we
yeah, yeah.
incorporated
Mm-hmm.
specialty priests. We
Yeah.
love specialty
Yeah.
priests. We incorporated not the spherical mages like enchanters and evokers, but we already had a necromancer, but we brought the elementalists in.
Yeah, you
Loved
have a whole slew
elementalists.
of cool classes and so
We
on.
have
So you basically done a bit like what Pathfinder
elementalists, yeah.
done, lots of cool
Yeah.
classes and added to it back for
Wild
1E, 2E.
Mage is
Yeah,
great,
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
and what I try to do on my talk show is go over a lot of those because it's so much because it's
mm-hmm.
been 39 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had show just on the six elementalists we had a show on the specialty priests and just to talk about it, and that's what happens when you have a group of friends, and that's it. I mean, my players are my good friends. Now my best friend doesn't play and he doesn't understand the game, and he makes
Great.
fun of me all the time, which is
yeah,
the craziest thing of all. But he watches and he cheers occasionally, but he
yeah,
doesn't play.
yeah.
But they're all dear friends of mine, and so when we were 13 years old, and now I'm 52. I know I look a lot younger than that. Sorry, just kidding. But at that age,
Yeah,
we've been together that long.
yeah.
My Out of all my players that you see at my table on Thursday nights, the rookie is from 1992, and that's Bill. So that's the
That's amazing when you have a rookie that
the
is
group's been
played
together
for
a long time.
hmm
It's insane when you think about it. And
yeah
I'm blessed
hmm
to have that, and that's
yeah
why it's evolved to where it has,
yeah
because you have a lot of people that just, they we understand each other, we get each other.
yeah.
Do we DC? Or, I thought we may have DC'd
No,
there. No, no.
No, I
Okay,
don't think
cool.
so.
no.
I
All right,
hope not.
all right.
It's looking good so far. So yep. But
Excellent,
you,
excellent.
then like what is it? About a year ago, you took the step of moving into the modern era and embrace Twitch and start streaming your games, and that was
Yeah.
amazing because that's when I found out about you.
Well, this is a story in itself, and
Yeah,
believe it or not, Mike is getting a lot of the credit
Yeah.
for
yep,
seriously
hmm
for this is going to sound a little okay. This is going to sound a little crazy, but in October 2017, so going around like I was thinking about going to Gen Con in 2017, didn't know anyone, had never been to a gaming convention because we kept to ourselves for 38, 37 and a half
Yeah,
years.
that's tough.
Yeah, we've always been just a small knit group. No, don't allow outsiders in. Didn't, and I was thinking to myself, this is ridiculous. Let's. I really think we can bring this out to to everyone, and have some success with it and have fun with it. So I see an article on the front of Greyhawkery on October 2017, and all it says is longest D&D campaign in existence. Dot dot dot. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this? And so you linked the video of Robert Wardoff from London, Ontario,
yep,
okay, who
Okay.
had at the time the supposedly the longest game in existence at 35 years, and he had this basement of
Ah,
all the figures in it,
hmm
and I'm thinking to myself, we got him by 2 years, and so I'm
I don't
thinking,
know where I got that.
you did. Well, it was linked from a Popular
It was
Mechanics.
it was Think
Okay.
Big. It's a
Think big,
YouTube
yeah.
channel. So when I heard about
Yeah.
you and I saw the video probably roughly when Mike did, so I thought you were him up in Ontario, Canada. I just
Yes,
simply assumed
yes, and
that. And then it took a week or two and I realized no, it's not Jay, someone else. And that's yeah, so it took a couple of weeks after you posted and I kind of saw the connection and that's when I realized no, it's not. You
and
yeah.
Anna and
Mhm.
I have a big running joke about it. I'm like, I'm much
Yeah.
better looking than that guy. Just
Well, yeah, but yeah, that was so much fun. It was kind of I gradually got one bit after the other confirmed, so to speak, and it was
yeah.
kind of amazing. Yeah,
Baboon.
But, well, what was cool, Mike, was that there's a world. I realized there's a world out there that we were not participating in,
Okay, okay.
and I'm thinking to myself, it's time to start prepping. So back in like November, right around Thanksgiving, I started preparing the proper PC, the layout. We always played in that basement. I moved in this house in 2013, and there's some pictures on our front page of some of the old house, and it looks like a basement with everywhere. Right, no room to walk with that 8x8 tables down there. So 2013, we went into this house. I'm like, oh my god, this is the perfect basement. My wife's like, you're looking at the basement. You're looking at So we
so,
got the
so
house from the basement.
yeah, exactly. You got it. Then the
Yeah.
rest could be whatever you wanted. Yeah.
So can I say thank you all my regulars and all my friends that are on. I see Mike Wilson, Celestian's on, Chuck's on,
Yep.
um, Jim Duffy's on,
Yep.
Blake Ryan's on, Gitano's on, Carlos
Wait,
is on. Thanks.
Yeah,
Good to see you guys
it's
all.
great to
so
have you
Jim
here. So
Carter.
Yeah,
yeah, there's a
yeah.
whole bunch of cool stuff going
Wow.
on in chat and stuff. So
So
thank you. Should
please, guys, ask questions.
Yep.
I'd be happy to answer them. So,
Should we show some pictures now while you show when we talk
yeah,
your
if you'd want to do
basement?
that,
Yep.
sure, sure.
Yep.
So it came to be March and April of 2018. I'm prepping up doing it. I was scared to death to stream, scared to death. So the first couple ones I did, yeah. Now this is entering into the basement, going down. There's our wall of fame up, and then there's a wall with all the Miniature Building Authority running down. That's one wall. So I was scared to death of streaming. So the first couples I recorded and premiered them because I was scared to death to go live, and it was a learning curve. It really is not easy if you don't have anyone teaching you how to do it. Yeah, Fraley, there's a picture of the entire wall. Now this is mostly Miniature Building Authority. Now I've been using Miniature Building Authority since they came into business in 2001. I've had a relationship with Kirk. They were my obvious first sponsor for my channel. I went right to Kirk. I was like, Kirk, we show your stuff better than anyone there is. And he's like, absolutely. So Kirk gives us great giveaways. So our next one is in 2 weeks. A week from Thursday, so there's I got that colossal red dragon still mint and blister, right? I got some of that wall's figures. That's opposite the other one. Notice I got the IKEA lights on the top going down. Hi, that was my son. I got the IKEA lights going down so you can see everything. That was my wife's idea. But majority of those are painted, mostly by, we call him Bill the Master Crafter. We'll show you some of his crafts. But we think we roughly have 20,000 figures.
Wow.
Our rule is this: you have to have a painted miniature, metal preferred. 3D printed's okay, but we're looking for metal miniatures of every player character we have. That's a
Wow.
rule.
Mhm.
We start a new group,
Wow.
everyone has to find one from Reaper, Dark Sword, wherever, Prince August,
Yeah.
wherever, Old Ralpartha,
Mhm.
and it takes Bill months. So when we start a new adventure group, it's a 4-month process because everyone's got to have, and they got to have the right weapons, the whole thing. It's kind of like almost like Warhammer-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This piece was made by Bill. This piece was used in our the end of our charity fundraiser that Anna played in, right? The Orb of
Yep.
the Dragonkind, mega stream.
Yep.
So Bill made this specifically for that stream.
Nice.
We raised over $1,000. A lot of you, Mike, you did, and a lot of people online gave, and I really thank you all for that. That was fun, and it was great. Anna played Mario
Yep.
in that adventure, and it was a fun time. It was real fun. We fought a Miracle the Chaotic in the end.
Yep.
Hey, there's Brian Blumklotz. Hey, Brian.
Yep. Welcome.
Hey, Brian.
Yes. So go ahead. All right. So this is to the right of the table. All right. This is the wall. I have some
Jeez.
posters. This is all crafted. This is the I have 3 posters up top. I have a poster from Excalibur. I have a poster from oh my God, what's my second one? I have a poster from Knight Riders, which anyone knows that's guys jousting on motorcycles. Ed Harris from 1981, right? Yeah, and I got some crazy ones up there. So this runs the entire length of the back wall behind the table where Alan and Bill sit. This is everything you see, Bill made. And a lot of the times it's to what I ask him for an adventure. So, and we reuse stuff all the time, obviously, but the trees, everything, this is all crafted. Yeah, there's Bill. Look, so Shar scoring is Bill. Really nice terrain. So this is all Bill the Master. Yeah, that's he's on right now. So
Awesome work.
yeah, it's awesome. Okay, this is that corner running down. I got the idea in September and October because Stratagem came out with these great mats that were winter scenes. We need winter trees, Bill. And so he did an entire winter scene for us. If everyone watched our stream in October, November, December, and up into January, our Winchester's Bulwark Fortress was all, and it's on my front page, it's all done in winter. So we actually did scene changes, and he did a lot of this. Everything you see, except for something on the very bottom down there, those brown rivers. Everything else you see, he crafted.
Nice.
So I got a lot of options, and then there's some BattleTech posters up here. There's a poster by Diesel in the back there, and I got some. Oh gosh, yeah. There's the Diesel poster.
Oh, wow.
It was me. I had to adjust the
no
size a bit
problem.
so we can see.
All right,
the
so
whole thing.
these two,
Mhm.
Bill crafted one of these. The one in the corner is actually, see the fletchings on the battlements. So this is a character named Swain Markham in my campaign. That's Mark's character. He's a fire cleric mage, but his deity's Alana. So he wanted all around the battlements. He wanted all the arrows and stuff. So this is
That's
back,
so
I
cool.
guess. Oh man, I think we did this before we moved. This is like 2012. Stellarian Games made this for us online. Did not charge us that much for it either. So we got that done. Now the one to the left, he just finished last week. That is Warmonger's Tower. It's on the map that Anna has. It's one of our keeps. Garth Warmonger, Alan's character, high level fighter cleric. He's in the adventure right now. And his motto is there's nothing alive that can kick my ass. So he's a crazy half orc fighter cleric. But he's of good alignment. He's a member of the Order of Ulick. He's the commander of the Order of Ulick in the Pomarge Principality area. So, and that's his tower. And we, I've done both the adventures Carlos Lysing has written for me that we've done the last couple of months have started in this area. Yeah, there's another angle, and there's that's his wyvern on the back. Okay, so so that Garth has a wyvern. And he's also one that's taller than anything else. So yes, hey, Rocks.
For scale, how tall is that thing?
What is that, Bill? 27 inches? It's at least. It's high. It's pretty big, at least. Bill will be able to tell us, but he'll pop up if he's still on. But it's tall. So, but it fits on my 8x8 table fine. We make everything to scale, 28 millimeter scale, and we use it. We like using it. Now this is to the other side of the table. All right, this is some other stuff. A lot of this is Bill's craft. This is miscellaneous craft stuff on there. It's crazy amounts of stuff. So
I would love to have that space.
Mike, I tell you, when I walked down here before we bought the house, I said, we got to have this house. It was perfect for all the shit we have built up. And this, at that time, 35 years. Yeah, 26 inches, Bill says, from the base. So we just, and all right. So this is on the wall where the Municipal Building Authority, this is my reference library. Okay, on here. And you notice there's nothing that goes beyond 3rd edition here. All right, so the Relics and Rituals books in the middle, there's some great stuff in them. We use it for learning spells from the Sword and Sorcery publications, from Necromancer Games, and from Frog God. But notice it's all 1st edition and 2nd edition book. And the one thing I regret, I don't have enough box sets. I only got a shelf of box sets. I wish I had more of those. Come to think of it, just started it all. There you go.
Yeah,
the original.
We'll come here in a second on the stream. I'm already switched it, so now you can.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, now you can hold it up again. So
this started it all.
Yep.
There you go. If all you old Grog nerds know.
Oh, yes.
All right, this is it. And inside, does everyone know where the chit is? There were no dice in these boxes.
Oh, okay. You had the. Oh, wow. I never seen them, and I've just heard the name. And
there's chits.
Wow. Yep.
You put these in a glass, and you pull them out, and that's how you did.
Wow.
Yes, whole basic Jason Zavada. Absolutely, that's where we started back in '78. It had Keep on the Borderlands in it. Didn't have In Search of the Unknown. Yeah, here you go. Keep on the Borderlands. That's where I started as a kid. Way back in the day, and that started it all. And that's randomizer chits, Jason. Jason's about it. Yeah, no dice.
To try chits out sometime. Fun.
Yeah, they call it the prison version. That's the prison version.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's what it's called. Yeah. With no dice. So, but from that point on, a quick story. A friend of mine I don't play with. I don't know. I don't associate with anymore. Named Bill Runzer. He brought in Hidden Shrine of Tomoakan. That's the first module I ever played. So why don't you throw up the Wall of Fame, Adam, if you can? I'll explain that real quick.
Yeah, we'll find the Wall of Fame. Here we go.
Yeah, and I'll explain. So that adventure technically is, I've never DM'd, but it's on my Wall of Fame because it's the first module that I ever had an experience with. He DM'd it, and this is like 79. So here, okay, yeah. So
nice.
All right, so there's a Wall of Fame picture. It's cut. One of them's cut off. So we voted on this. The first 18 I picked. We had a Gabbin show way back, and we picked the bottom row of 6. But you notice on there is Ravenloft 2, Temple of Elemental Evil, Keep on the Borderlands, Return of the Eight. It's game changing in our campaign. Baltram's Beacon, Dark Tower by Judges Guild. Fortress Elendar, Ghost Tower of Inverness, Q1, D1 to 3, D3, Shokanth and Tharisden, Ravager of Time, which is one of the nastiest modules ever made, if you don't know. And then, seriously, and then Egg of the Phoenix, which is a super rare one that we played once, and I'll never do it again because it was actually kind of painful. And then Ravenloft 2, which is very, very rare. And it's kind of strange, but it's really challenging. So Yeah, guys, we all started at the same time. It appears a lot of the people watching. I appreciate.
No, I didn't start in the '70s, so I'm feeling a little younger tonight.
But so that's our. So these are modules that actually affected our campaign or affected me in some way, and so that's the Wall of Fame.
Yep.
We have 24 now. We're going to change. We're gonna on the other side of that wall. We're gonna start doing magazines if we can get like a good cover picture. Yes, and that'll be part of our discussion next Sunday show. We're going to talk about the classic magazine article.
Oh, cool.
Yes, adventures. Yeah, absolutely. But so that's the room, and then there's a table in the middle too, so that we play on. It's 8 foot by 8 foot. I work for a company that makes phenolic board along with other products, so I got this table back at 2 4x8s back in like 1996, and I've had them since. They don't nothing. You can shoot them, and a bullet won't go through them. It's half-inch thick phenolic board. You know how thick that core stuff is.
Yeah.
So and they're heavy. They're heavy, but I've had them for that long, and getting them down the basement from the other house was a nightmare. But we got them down there. They're not going anywhere. But so our table's 8 foot by 8 foot, and we play a 1E, 2E. Rule set, which is really kind of evolved over all the years, but it's I call it miniatures tabletop style. So when I first started watching Twitch, I'm like, no one's doing this. There's no one. There's like there's a wargaming channel that does a lot of Warhammer that plays a D&D game like once a week, and they use some miniatures. And so there was no hardcore miniature use at all. And I'm thinking to myself, we have a niche. We have our niche, because that's why I got so excited about starting to stream, was no one's doing this. So
my friend's house that I used to game at, we used to play Warhammer 40K a lot. And we had all the minis and the terrain like you had, maybe a tenth of what you have. But we never once said, let's use this for our D&D game.
See,
it never.
Mike, Mike, that's what happened in like 80. I don't know. You know how you play on a table and you may have that mat that you can erase the marker on with all the squares. Okay, and you have a box of Ral Parthas that are all unpainted. Use them for monsters, even though they're not those monsters, right? So back in the day, that's what we did, and then it just dawned on me one day we used that for BattleTech, GeoHex especially. And I said, I had all this GeoHex. I'm like, man, why aren't I using this for D&D? And it must have happened in the early 90s that we really made a huge switch over at that point. So question for, do you do 1E2? All right. So considering the way that you do movement rates differently, how do you reconcile the two systems with respect to movement around the terrain? Okay. So that's a great question, Carlos. It's okay, Aaron, if I take that one?
No, definitely. I was going to say,
jump in.
Carlos had another cool before that. One day, Horrors in the Hools will be up on the Hall of Fame, your Hall of Fame.
It will be, of course, Carlos. It'll absolutely be. So we'll start with that. Horror in the Hools is the module that Carlos and I are dual DMing at Gen Con on Thursday, the 1st. I think we had 2 spots open still, Carlos, if that's the case or not. I'm going to do the first 4 hours. Hour break, he's going to do the final 4 hours, and we're going to play in our own styles, and we're both going to do a joint DM session. I'm really excited about it.
Wow!
And then Carlos is going to publish the module, so it'll be the first time I've ever had a published module done. So yeah, really excited about that. So that'll be cool.
Welcome to the show, Wicked Studios.
Hey, Will, thanks, man. I know he's got his own game coming up. So Will, thanks. I'll see you. I'll talk to you soon, because I'll see you a week from Sunday as well. So thanks for coming on, Will. Absolutely. So. He has that Murray mini, which one? Oh, was that one that was shown, Brian?
One I.
Okay, cool.
Movement difference and stuff.
All right, so here's the thing: we had to figure out. There's no battle system was out, but we had to figure out a combat system and a range system. So we went to 1 inch equals the 1 inch movement, 10-foot movement with scales on, like a fireball does an area effect of 30-foot radius. 3 inches, that works. 28 millimeters, it works with everything. So we have a rule, it's called the where you can only move so much, and it's not like 5e, you can move, act, move. So we have the engagement rule, and the engagement rule we put in was if you were within 10 feet of something, you can move an attack in the same round. Okay.
Ah.
If you're outside of that, you can't. It's called you're engaging that round, which means you're susceptible to area effect spells or missile fire as you're in, because shooting in the missile combat's bad, right? Because we got rules on that too. So that's how we kind of figured out how we learned as we went with miniature scale on in the 1E2E, but they go over pretty well. It works pretty well.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have someone without armor on, they can move 12 inches. Unless you're dark elf female, and you can move 15, right? So but a plate mail 6 unless it's magical, and it's 9. We have we have feats. You can have armor mastery, so if you have magical plate mail on, you can actually move 12. So we got whole sorts of
we had a
neat
few
stuff.
frames dropping here, so they probably lost us for a second or two here, but it's only now we're back again, I think. Yeah, I hope we're back again. It looks kind of shaky. Yep. It's my internet connection, so I'm so sorry for this. But now it seems like we're up and running again, and I have a green little light here telling me that things look
Jason
good.
says there was an official Greyhawk line of minis. Were the Grenadiers those, or was it just Greyhawk with the yellow packet? I remember them.
Yeah.
There were Grenadiers, there were Ralparthas, there were all things dark and dangerous Ralparthas. They were the really good figures back then. And then there was I think a D&D. So as long as we're still on, that's great. So cool. But we had to figure out some things, and we did. We took care of it, and it works very well. And all I can say is you have to be there to experience it to understand. I mean, sometimes it's tough online to watch, and like everyone's moving everything around and all, but it's a different style. It's a completely different play style than everyone's used to.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's what's cool.
It's so cool to have the complement from all the virtual tabletop based shows, to have one that is actually tabletop, the old style tabletop that I guess all of us started out with, and that I've been running up until 2-3 years ago, I think. Yeah, about 3.5 years ago. That's when but I used a thing that is called these dry erase tactiles that you can actually just plastic things that tie into each other, and you can draw with dry erase, and then you can just keep building, and they have these 5-foot square markers just painted on top of them.
There are some really cool, I mean, some old school things that I wish I, had, and, figures, the old figures would be great. There was a Dungeons and Dragons line of figures, but they were plastic and they were out to scale. Remember, it's crazy how much they go for now. Remember them, the big clunky figures,
I've
like
never
a fighter?
seen them in reality.
Yeah, you couldn't use those. Yeah, they weren't to scale properly.
Yeah.
Ralpartha back in the day was the first company to really get it right, and they had their 3-stage figures. Remember those, where it had 3-stage figures?
Yeah.
We still use those to this day. Gazumba is a 3-stage figure. The wizard, the elven wizard, that's his figure.
Oh, was that the one where you have standing still and in a fighting position and mounted or something?
Absolutely. And the wizard has a staff or has a spell. Yeah.
Yep.
And so Bill, actually Tom's character, his new character, Thomas the Younger, actually used one of the other Gazumba 3-stage figures for his new character he just did. So we're still using them to this day.
Yep.
So it's really cool. I look back on the history, and just 39 years, and already, like, Tom, I don't know if he's on, he's like, what are you gonna do for your 40th? Next year I said, let's get through 39 first, dude, in one piece, and then 40th we'll do some things next year. But it's.
I remember you told me you went to I forgot which con. I think was it last
PAX.
year? PAX. That's when you made your first running games in public at a convention. How was that?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Well, here's I went to 1 or 2 conventions when I was a kid. Like they had Origins East. Does anyone remember that back in the day? Like they had it at like Widener University, and they had it at Glassboro back near where I live back. And but beside that, I had never been to a convention. I never DM'd for anyone outside of my friends ever, and I was a little worried. But I took Walt with me. Everyone knows Crazy Walt. I took him with me. He came with his kilt. came in, and so I had him outside helping the characters. So what I did
Yeah.
was I did a level like 4 adventure. I used some of my customized classes and all, and I gave them all backstories, characters that we, kind of PCs we used. It went great. I ran sessions on Friday and Saturday, and each one was a little different, and it was fantastic. And I took a bunch of pictures. I remember I did a talk show about it afterwards,
Yep.
and it was great. I mean, it
Yep.
was. I have those memories now, and now I think I'm a bit past that stage fright initially of doing it, DMing for strangers,
Yeah.
because they're like, you don't do this. You don't. I said, yeah, this is 1E, 2E. This is not 5E. So, but that's cool. Everyone had fun. Everyone had a great time.
Gen Con.
Yeah, Gen Con East. Okay, that was it. Yeah, Jason. It was like there was one at Weiner. There was one at the Cherry Hill at a hotel in Cherry Hill, and there was one at Glassboro, I believe. Okay, so yeah, just back in the day, and it was a long time ago. But so I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to Gen Con. I'm really looking forward to it because I really respect the hell out of Carlos, and I want to DM with Carlos. And then I'm supposed to on Friday DM on the main floor at NBA's,
Oh yeah, in the
sales
exhibit hall
area.
in their booth.
Right,
Yep.
at their booth, because NBA's Harbor Town, the one that I do the ads for, is finally coming in. They're gonna have the full Harbor Town set up, and I'm gonna DM for people there. And then Saturday, I'm supposed to DM my style with
Oh.
terrain figures and all at the Greyhawk Channels Hostel on Saturday. So yes, and Shane says he's playing in the group, so that's great. I know Geek Dice is already. I know Geek's on, and I know he's like I'm in. So I'm looking forward. Looking forward to that. Yeah, Cherry Hill, Jason. They still have a convention at that same hotel. It's just a little different. I think they have MonsterCon there now. So, but they don't have the D&D stuff really. PAX Unplugged, those 6 miles from my house. So yeah, I'm. Thanks, Chuck. Thank you, Babunski. I'm really excited about the whole weekend. Just going and meeting new people
Yeah.
and just having fun,
Yep.
with it.
And it seems like this year's Gen Con might have a record in Greyhawk
think
at
so.
least since the
Easily.
last 10 years or something, like since they stopped living Greyhawk or ended. That now Greyhawk is coming back, and with Saltmarsh and stuff, you never know. There is more and more interest in Greyhawk again. Yep, definitely.
And that's great if it happens that way, and they make out content, because it's for the new player who doesn't know Greyhawk. This channel that Shane has is great for that. I mean, I consider myself the old school guy out there, and so I get the old grog nerds and the old watching, but I get a lot of new players that really want to see this style.
Yep.
So it's really funny how there's two separate. The audiences don't cross over that much, which is cool.
Yeah,
because it's just, I think it's more to do with the play style than
but there's two sides to it. You can be really interested in what you're doing miniature wise and on the game table, but there's another side to it. That's what you're doing with the setting and all the adventures themselves, and you can be interested in both, or you can be interested in one or the other. So in that way, there's multi-dynamic coming into play here. So it's awesome to see that there's another take on both the setting and also how you play it. So it's
we make an inroad into the miniature community, and there's big ones.
Yeah,
like Jimmy the Brush, and so I have a second game, and that's Mark's in Ohio. So my friend Mark, who used to live here in South Jersey, but he moved to Ohio. And back in like the early 2000s, we FaceTimed him in, and what a disaster that was. You had him on an iPad, you always see his head, it fell over, it disconnected all the time. We weren't streaming then, it was a disaster. But then we got more and more, up and on things, and now he plays in my game, and everyone can probably see him. He's in the lower left-hand corner, falling asleep half the time. That's Mark. So Mark DMs his game on every other Monday, and so he plays his Ohio group, and they're raw players. So the house they play in, his name's Jacob Jansen. He's one of our best subs. His name's Jeff. Jeff is a crafter, and Jeff has made a lot of inroads in with the miniature community. So we have a lot of tie-ins to the miniature and crafters as well. And then we get a lot of viewers that are mini people.
Mm-hmm.
and
Never
that's kind
thought
of
of
cool.
that as a community.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jason. Thanks for that compliment. I appreciate that. So, like I said, I'm welcome to have. I know Christoph does not live far from me, and is supposed to come in and
Cool.
take a look at the house sometime, and a
Oh,
couple other
awesome.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to have people here. My wife is okay with that, so as long as I'm not bringing in an element, of craziness. But my son plays too, and he's 9, and we have what's called a Greyhawk Kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't stream that at all. So Bill's son plays, my son plays, a couple other guys when I
That's
can. And
fantastic.
here's the funny thing: so they hooked up with the Gnarlymen in Greyhawk City, and everyone knows the Gnarlymen's like the least ranked mercenary group, and they're a disaster. Most of those guys got killed off in an adventure, and now it's almost all PCs, and now they're bringing the Gnarlymen back up. So they have fun adventures, and we do stuff that, for a 12 years old, short attention span. You keep it to 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun. And and I actually noted them in my article that's coming out in this Earth Journal. So Earth Journal, what is it, 30 coming out? 29 or 30. Christoph will have it out shortly. But I do have what's called the Free Swords of Greyhawk. It's an article about all the mercenary groups in Greyhawk City. A lot that are canon, that we have changed, and a lot of our own, and how they interact with each other. It's 4 pages roughly, and it mentions the kids group, so they get their characters in there. They're all excited.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So his characters are actually mentioned in the article. So that should be coming out whenever the next Earth Journal comes out. And that's the thing. I haven't been. No, she isn't. Don't listen to him. That's Bill. He's busting my stones. That's what happens. You have friends. That's Bill. That's the gentleman that does all the crafting. So,
Yep.
So, well, Jason, there are no more traffic circles. They got rid of them all. All the traffic circles are gone, Jason. So, out in my area, what a disaster those things were in Cherry Hill. Always accidents all the time.
Americans can't drive in roundabouts or traffic circles. Europeans can't drive without them.
So, Jason, thanks for also saying my games are for everyone. I welcome everyone to it. It says it right on our front page. I have a lot of followers and subs that just want to absorb content information, and anything that they want, I will give them. I will give our secrets to our rules, because do you have that? Do you have the books? Do you have the books picture? You have a picture of all the custom books. So here's my custom library, all color coded. Take a look.
Let's
this
see
will
if
show
I have
you.
them.
I think you do have that one. It's just a row. Okay.
I have
this.
This
shows. I'll show you this.
I just need to make it the right size here. So hang on a second here. There will be.
Yeah.
Up
So
in
Jason, I
5
appreciate you
seconds.
saying that. Thank you. And Greyhawk is picking up. So, so Blake Ryan asked a good question too, and I'll get to that one after this. But Blake, I have that a definite answer to that, because we already have that taken. All right, so here, and this book is on there. So you have from left to right, you have classes and races, specialty priests, NPC specialty priests, miscellaneous magic user, illusionist, wild mage, elementalists, druids, avengers, necromancers, witches, and deities, alchemy, creatures, magic items, figures, the Tome of Artifacts, and actually Gygax magazine on the far. So it's a lot of custom. We use a lot of Dungeons and Dragons from like the early years, from the late 70s, early 80s for rules. And what I do is I'll photocopy it and put it in here, or we'll digitize it and put it in. And Anna says, you got to put all this on the disc. I'm like, no. She said that, just scan it all in and put, this is, So that's my library of my Bible of our rules, of our customization of the game, and it's a blast. But we always are adding to it. So if you take a look, like, I'll show you an example.
True, Jason. At one time, I had one notebook like that, and I didn't maintain it very well. So I'm sure those things are all gone. I think I have one Dragon Magazine article I actually clipped out of the magazine that was about pickpocket results and pickpocket random charts and stuff like that.
And we'll utilize that stuff.
And I used to keep it all in a binder, and now I only have a handful of those still.
Yeah. I can show my binders real quick here. They're sitting up there on the shelf. The white binders. that I actually made with Greyhawk graphics and stuff that I put in.
Nice.
Yep, back in the day.
So here's the Priest of Tritherion list, and if you notice, it's still got all this handwriting all over it because I'm adding spells to it all the time. So we always are adding stuff to it. So Babunsky asked, "Show us the lore," and so all right, let's. Is that okay if I go over like how we got where we are?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
So here's.
timeline lore.
I think he wants to know how we got to the. Oh, cat got in. All right. We'll be all right. So I made an article up for last month's. This is in the Earth Journal, and you can read this at your leisure. It's called the Order. It's called the Order of Ulic, Founding and Synopsis. Okay, this goes over what happened. And Anna, could we bring up the Pomar's Principality Ulic map? So we'll go over a little bit of the lore here.
There we have it, and I'm just gonna.
Well, hey, Chuck, I know it's how you play. I said to you, you should stream your home game, just like I do. I really think you should. We had that talk on the show. Chuck Babunzi's got it. He does some old school stuff. All right. So here, if you look at this map, now Anna sat down with me and was kind enough to really edit the map for my campaign. And then Brian Blumkotz's heraldry is on here now too. So if anyone, excuse me, right?
Yeah, it brings it all together.
It brings it all together because now it's like we have references now that I can put up on the screen when we do Twitch that people can look and go, wow, it's right there. So what we did was the following. Back in the day, the original, I call it generations, the first generation of characters, they were all Monty Hall characters. We had this discussion about how when you're young, you don't know, you're fighting Tarrasques all the days, you're fighting Archdevils, way back in the day. So when the Darlene map came out, I said to myself, we need to form let's have an organization. Let's do something. Let's do something cool. And when you looked on the map and you took the Principality Ulic, we always did stuff in the Wild Coast, in Ulic and the Pomars. We were all in that area. That's where we played Greyhawk and that whole area. You look down on the map south of the Sus, and there's this river, the Joel River running down. There's nothing on the map. It's blank, right? There's nothing there. So it makes no sense. And then so. In the lore goes the humanoids were driven out of Lort Mills, right? And they were all fled through the Sus to the Pomars. They fled and they ended up taking over the petty nobles there, and now they're in the Pomars. Well, I said to myself as a kid, there's nothing protecting, and look what happened in Living Greyhawk, right? There's nothing protecting the whole border here. So that's where the story starts.
Yeah, what's to say they can't turn around and come back?
Exactly. So as a kid, I was like, let's start setting up. So Wales Castle was first, and then the outposts 1 and 2 were set up. And then the other 3, White Tower, Winchester's Bulwark, and Warmonger's Tower are all player characters or NPCs. They're Knights of Ulic keeps. So this is the main area of the Order of Ulic. Their goal, they defend this, and they defend Selene. So, and they run all the way up, and we have a lot. Selene is their top ally over the principality or the duchy or the county, and the Prince of Ulic is really not in my campaign. I think, Mike, we discussed this, is not a nice guy. He's very lawful neutral, and he's very we look at him as the greedy dwarf type from that you get in The Hobbit, right? Kind of very political, very backstabbing, and we've always had it that way. And so he's a thorn in the side of the Order of Ulic. He's never recognized the Order of Ulic as really truly being an organization, whereas the county, the duchy, and Selene have. And so that's where there's a little bit. I like throwing in intrigue and tension with not good versus evil, but like good versus neutral or neutral versus neutral. You know what I mean? Get another, and that's kind of like to create a little bit more of a role playing atmosphere. And it's
sounds
fun.
Like the Order of Ulic is to the Principality that like the Knights of Luna is to Selene.
Correct. But here's another thing: the Knights of Luna do not exist in my campaign because what year did From the Ashes come out? In like 91, 92?
It was probably a little bit later. Yeah, it was sometime around early 90s.
Let's see if I have it here. We have an organization called the Selenian Sus Forest Watch.
All right.
That it came out in 1982.
Oh, okay.
So the Selenian Swiss Forest Watch, and here's their organization, is 12 Knights of Selene, all from noble houses that patrol, kind of like the Dunedain do in the Northern Land Kingdom. They patrol the Jewel, they patrol the Sus. So, and that's
Or
what we have
ahead
in.
of the game.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that would happen before. Now Melf is
Sounds nice.
active. Yeah, it's different. It's just the way that our game came up before.
Man, you said
So
you saw Melf.
Melf, we have Melf. Melf is active in Greyhawk. He's not. We absolutely have Melf. Yolan's still Lady Ralta, head of Selene. We have a second in command who's from another house. He's half elf. His name's Duke Wilborn. We have all. I mean, Greyhawk for us is just, it's a full developed world.
Mhm.
Like here, I'll show you this. This is the listing of all the noble and lesser houses of Selene. The 10 noble houses we have of Selene, and a bunch of lesser houses a lot of player characters belong to. And so, and with all the members of that, so we have Selenium.
Thanks, Jason.
Yes,
Yep,
nothing.
92.
Yes, absolutely. A great pain in the butt NPC spices things up, and you are absolutely correct. And and that's just what we did. We,
Mhm.
that's how our game developed, because when we started, there was just a folio. There was no Greyhawk City box set. When that box set came out for the World of Greyhawk, the City of Greyhawk, I was like, this is the best reference ever, and we used it. We still use it a lot to this day. In fact, look at this right here. They're both right here, right? City Greyhawk box set. I mean,
Yep.
it's the best, in my opinion. It's the best reference they ever put out.
I enjoy it.
The detail is
Off of mine.
yeah, the details are fantastic. The stories are funny.
Yep.
The organizations, the way they do trade unions, the people's constables are an irritant. The night watchmen are a fantastic organization idea. We use
I love
them.
the legal system.
I'm sorry.
I said I like the legal system.
The legal system, yeah.
it's cool.
Gloretti,
Yep.
Bacani, the tax collector. So we go back a lot to those references, and we use that
Venture
extensively.
cards. Yeah.
Venture cards were great. It was a fantastic. And now From the Ashes came out. We had a couple problems because there was stuff that it didn't make sense to us, but we used a lot of it.
Mhm.
So in our timeline, it happens a little later. Like our timeline's like 6. I think I said 6:10. It happens, but we implemented everything. But they kill off Valderessa Sharn. Terrible thing.
Yeah.
So she's alive, and she's one of the three. She's one of the three oligarchs in the Shieldlands now, with Katarina Walworth and David Gradavis, Mark's character. We did not have Grimmy Fisher get killed off, because Grimmy Fisher is a great character. And then
Yeah.
we changed a couple other things. And Lights of Luna was the big thing, that we had the Selenian Swiss Forest Watch already, so it was redundant, kind of. Now, there's a lot of political intrigue going on between all the mercenary groups in Greyhawk and all the political organizations, and that is on a grandiose scale. Like, it always is behind the scenes. If
Yeah.
any of you have been watching what's been going on in the adventure now, the Prince of Yuluk put that tower out in the middle of nowhere, and it got overrun, and so the Knights of Yuluk had to come save him again. And so, they weren't happy about it. And the Prince of Yuluk has a champion. His name's Horkar the Magnificent. He wields the Servant of Clangeddon, which is a yeah, you like that name? He from the cache of dwarven axes in the Welkwood Varnafane. He wields one of those, and Schlemmenmeal, which is Walt's character, and him hate each other. Now, Schlemmenmeal's the highest level dwarf in our campaign, and Horkar, they don't like each other, but now they're actually working together in this adventure finally. So there's always some kind of weird political, thing I throw into the game.
Yeah.
Which is
super
fun.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
fun. Look at Bill put a really dumb idea. The Princess of Punk. Yeah. So it's fun.
Is
Yeah.
Varela.
Yes. Yeah, it is a blast to play. And Celestian, I have a shrink wrapped one as well. I have a shrink wrap Wars as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I
They are
tried it.
worth a lot of money these days, I
Yeah,
bet.
I know. I'd love to have the old school stuff in perfect condition. Now I have a perfect condition Deities and Demigods, 148 pages, but I just recently got that. So Mark actually found that for me in Ohio, so he got it for me. But that's probably the most expensive book I have right now is that one. But the box sets are, they're classic. I need a From the Ashes. My From the Ashes fell apart. So
The
yes,
isometric poster map of the city of Greyhawk from that box set. I saw the original art for it at Gary Con
ooh,
a few
how
years ago. It
much?
was sweet.
Mhm.
It was on. It was a museum display. It wasn't for sale.
When we first, before the age of anything, I put that out and I got on a scanner, scanned it, taped it all together, and it's actually in a poster in the corner downstairs in our room. That poster of taped
Mhm.
because it was like, man, this is great. The because you could actually say, hey, my character lives in that house
Yeah. Mhm.
on that map.
Yeah.
It's an awesome map, absolutely awesome. I'm doing all the talking.
Oh yeah, but it's awesome. It's we need now we
Yeah,
got so
catch your breath
many
there.
cool stories out of it. But so
If I can back up a little bit,
mhm.
Yes,
there was
please,
a
please.
question.
Yep.
Someone asked, "What
No,
is
not
the highest level character in your
okay.
campaign?"
Good question, Celestian. Not Knights of Valuna, Knights of Luna, Luna. The Knights of the Heart exist. Celestian said Knights of Valuna. No, the Knights of the Fiorendi, Valuna, and the High Folk all exist. Luna, Luna. Okay,
Mhm.
the Knights of Luna are the ones that the Elven organization. Okay, so highest level.
Yeah.
Brought up from first is Alan has a. Uh, you met him, Anna, didn't you? Didn't he play? No, that was Leuven.
Yeah.
You met. We have two halfling thieves. One wasn't brought up from first, kind of in my campaign. That was Tim has a character named Leuven the Light Fingered
Mhm.
halfling thief. He's 18th level, and
So
the
is
other one,
20 the limit still for you as
no,
well, or you can go
no,
higher? Yep.
you can go higher. There's some
Mhm.
NPCs that are actually higher, and Sam is a 17th level straight halfling thief, and that's Alan's. Walt has Britomart. She's a gray elf, and she's a cavalier, a Dragon Magazine cavalier. She's 16th, I believe, and that's super. That's called ultra high.
Mhm.
That's when we get up to 12th, 13th. You're talking really high level. Now
My
we have
memory of 1E2E is a little hazy, especially when you consider race and class combos. Are there any caps in your campaign?
yes, not for racial, but for class.
Okay.
So assassin 15th, right, grandfather? Druid, whatever that is, Bard 23rd level, right? We got rid of the level limits on that because that was meant so the players didn't all take, we thought, all demi humans. But my guys love playing human characters. So here, I'll show you this. Oh, I have a card done on it. If you take, now this is where you start on building a character. This is the permitted races and classes chart. Okay,
Nice.
so you got human all the way across to half ogre. All right, and you have these are all the classes we have. I think there's 42. All right, different classes. So you have fighter, ranger, archer. That's Leonard Lakofka's archer. I had to say Leonard Lakofka once, Anna.
Oh
Right?
yeah, we have to
Yeah.
every
Every
session,
every
every
time we have a
tweet.
talk show, you have to say
Yes, we
Leonard
have to
Lakofka.
exactly. He has to be mentioned, and yeah, every time.
We have some custom made classes like Shield Thane, which is like Dwarven Defender would be in Forgotten Realms, kind of. Necromancer I made up before 2E came out. We have Timothy Brannan's Witch from his
Ooh,
first 1E Witch. Yeah, and I love. He and I have been talking a lot, and he's got So we use that. That is a class, and you can multi-class in a witch too. So we use the witch. We have crazy stuff like the Jester from the Dragon Magazine, which
oh
everyone
wow.
hates. People hate him with the passion. We have the Duelist, which is one of my favorite classes, right from the
Hmm.
Dragon. I allow assassins. There is a non-evil version called a bounty hunter.
Uh huh.
I made way back in the 80s, but I allow Bill's the only one that plays them, and he's very judicious with the way he plays them. Um, Elementalist, Wild Mage, and it's basic with the cross reference of races. So it's a good question, but you have to know your players. I wouldn't go into a game without knowing that my players are not they're in it for creating unique stories on where these people come from. And a lot of people go, oh, you play a tactical game, that's it's all it's not. You gotta they're taught. People are standing around. We never sit. If you notice, there's very little sitting when we play. There's a lot of people walking around at the table and all, but there's a lot of interaction going between the characters and between the NPCs in them. It's not anywhere near like a Theater of the Mind game where there's a ton of it, but there is a good amount of RP. It's just you gotta know what's going on. And I know a lot of my yes, so no, Naz, I'm not talking about that. So here's a quick story. I showed after our show Sunday night. I went downstairs and I got that class and I showed it to Anna and Brian Blumklotz. It's the one failed class I tested. Anna knows what I'm talking about, and she goes, "This is disturbing." No.
Yeah,
so.
we should probably not talk too much about it on this show because I don't know what kind of rating Shane
absolutely.
has
So
set on
we're
the
not
Greyhawk
talking
channel.
about that.
So, yeah.
So when we play test a new class, which we're play testing one right now, that Alan created, it's called the Greyhawk Mage. It's kind of like it's a class that is they take and it's tough because there's not a lot of spells. But you got to try and find them. You take a Circle of 8 member or Leomund or someone with a lot of spells, and that's your main focus is their spell list. But then you can use tensor spells, all the ones from the Greyhawk book. But this one, all from this, right?
All from Greyhawk Adventures.
Okay. Yeah. So he had his new character is Nistel. So she follows Nistel, and she has to go back to Greyhawk to train under him. Every time she levels up. So she's in that Winchester's Bulwark series that we're doing now. But they can eventually fight with a sword and fight with limited armor, but they're a mage class. So it's kind of usually we play this. Something takes 2 years because of the levels and us bouncing around to figure out if we want to keep it in. So Bill did a Maester, which is based on, I guess, the Game of Thrones Maester. That stuck. It's a great subclass. Where because you know what, Mike, what's missing in 1E, 2E? Crafting, right? There's no crafting whatsoever in it. So Bill came up with this great idea and figured out a way to add armor, smithing, leatherworking, alchemy, actually, signaling, all sorts of all different sorts of things. So the Maester is a great. I'm going to have a show about it.
Background skills or whatever they called it.
Yes.
Yeah. That from a Dragon magazine or was it from Unearthed Arcana or something?
He based it off of they had the Ravens for communication, and then he went with a combat type skill like music and art and stuff, and then one that allows you to use magic user scrolls, or if you're not that kind of miscellaneous paths, and it's pretty cool. And it's once again it's right in here in our Classes and Races book, and so a recommendation I can give as a DM: listen to your players. Right?
Yeah, that's one of the questions that I've been holding off. That I've been wanting to ask you, because you run a campaign longer than with the same group of players, managed to keep them together for decades, and that in itself I think is a feat. Whether you run the same game world or whatever, or the same game, but just to manage a game group that effectively, that successfully, that's kind of amazing in itself.
Well, thank you, Anna. Here's the thing: it's not been static. We've had people come and go.
Yeah.
So Tom, who everyone loves, Tom's so gung ho. He came in 87, played for 2 years, disappeared, came back in 1999, played, disappeared, and now he's back for good, right? So I got Tom, and his characters who he's playing now, Ace Broadhead and Tom the Vindicator, named after himself, back in the day. They played in our original Temple of Elemental Evil in 86, 87. That's where these characters go from, and now he's using them. Now they're 9th, 10th level. So he's back, but I've had probably 5 or 6 people that have gone in and out of the game, but my core group's always stayed together. Now, everyone knows Tim. Tim comes on when he can. His dad, John, who Anna played with on,
Yep.
during the fundraiser, John's
Yeah.
having some health issues, so John really can't come out much anymore. But John was a mainstay for years in our game, but his
That's
health
amazing.
yeah, yeah, yes. And but Tim has got a busy life, so Tim plays remotely a lot. Whenever he can fit it in, he still comes in. And we have guest spots now, and that's we had a question back a little bit about 5e and DMing. All right, so this is what we do, and I forget who asked it, but here's the answer to that. So I play Thursday nights, and we rarely, once in every like 6 to 9 months, we'll throw a BattleTech in just to change things up. We've done it, all right, because we still play BattleTech, but very rarely. Then I have Mark's game every other Monday. So, and then I have my talk show on Sundays. Unfortunately, it really conflicts with Shane's show. I'm sorry about that, but I want a half hour early. Catch me for a half hour if you really,
But at least we have managed to solve the conflict with Legends and Lore show and your Thursday games, because we moved and that was one of the big reasons, because we wanted you on the show, and we also didn't want to compete because there is a lot of crossover in the audience, so we wanted them to be able to see both shows.
I appreciate it so much, Anna, but I think it's going to be great for both of our shows and both channels.
Yep.
Because now the hardcore people who watch my game can get the Greyhawk information now live instead of watching it on vid with you.
Yep.
Right? So, I gotta shut that door shortly. My wife will shut it. So, I have 2.5 streams every week. So I have 5 streams every 2 weeks, right? So we had our fundraiser on that Saturday night. It went great. And I came up with the idea, I can get free every 4 to 8 weeks on Saturday night. So I came up with, I ripped it, I call it the Saturday night special. And what we've done is I'm going to have anything goes. So the first 2 we've done, my good friend Brian, his name's Sublime BW. He's DMing his own home game right now at a gaming store. That's why he's not on, but he mods for me on Thursday nights. I've known him since 2004. We used to be World of Warcraft guild masters together. That's another whole story in itself. My God. He plays Fantasy Grounds in 5e. So, and if anyone online can set up his link to his Obsidian portal page for Greyhawk, it's fantastic. Please do it. But Chuck, especially, I know you've been pilfering stuff from it, Chuck. So if you can link up his Obsidian portal page.
Yeah.
So Brian came to me a couple months ago and said, Jay, I really want to start doing D&D again. Tell me why I should do Greyhawk over Forgotten Realms. And I said, come on, man. It's just, I'm a Greyhawk guy. And he goes, well, Forgotten Realms, every adventure, it seems like I'm trying to save the world in it. And I said, well, yeah, for us, it's on a small scale, and it's the macro is a little different than that. You may just
go through.
Yeah. You just you do Tomb of the Lizard King, right? Affects that area. That's it. Oh, we can't leak in this channel. Okay, it's okay, guys. This is what I'll do. I'll put it up.
We can. I'll find the link. So hang on a second here.
Yeah. We'll do. It obviously isn't linking, but thanks, guys. So I said to him, plus you have me as a reference, dude. Why would you not utilize it? So he started with his Obsidian portal page is unbelievable. So his game is actually in my world, just like Mark's is. Oh, that's another thing I haven't really talked about. So Mark's DMing in the same campaign as me, and it's at the same time. So we have crossovers. I actually NPC'd Bladestorm in an adventure they did, and I played an NPC named Candace, and I put her, and I was so they're crossover. So what he is doing in his could affect what we have in ours. So Brian's doing 5e. It's right outside Saltmarsh. He's in Burl. Everyone, if you know where that is, for his campaign, and he did the Fantasy Grounds in 5e. I played. Bill played the first time, and then Will from Return to the Band of Kingdoms played the second time. Anna played both times, and then Nazrat, Tim, who's on, played, and it was great. And we just did one Saturday. So that's how I incorporate 5e. Someone asked that question in my campaign. Anything goes on a Saturday night. Now, I don't know if I'm looking to bring on other DMs because I'm pretty much at my limit with real life job and real life family and son's soccer and all the other things that go on in life. So I just it's not going to be the Greyhawk channels where all you want all the content in the world and you have 20. That's great. You know, he's got 20 shows now. That's awesome for Greyhawk,
Great.
and it's great for the future of Greyhawk. For me, it's a little different. It's going to be 2.5 shows a week with my friends, and I want to share it with everyone what we do. That's the difference, I think. You know, and it's
I hope this is the link to the right one. So yeah.
That could be it.
Might be.
Anakin link in. That's it, guys. Check it. That's it. No, that's it. His crafting is unbelievable. He has crafting of herbs. He has herb rules. He has master crafting rules. He's very yeah, he's very detailed with stuff. He does a great job. So let me shut that door real quick.
Yeah, he uses my map too. So awesome. Yeah.
Guess you gotta be a member.
Alrighty. So we are the Saturday night specials open. I've had Chuck from Baboonsky. I've had Duffy from Predators Rejects. I've had soon we will have hopefully Celestian will do a 2E Fantasy Grounds on there and Greyhawk and one of his modules like part of it, and we'll do that. So we're up for anything on a Saturday night. I may run a tabletop game on a Saturday night with some people. You know, it just depends. It really just does. So that's our add-in, but it will be spotty. It'll be like, you know, every 4 to 8 weeks we'll do something,
Yep.
and that'll be our extra. That'll be our extra broadcast. And so, hey, Lincoln Drago. So yes. Well, thank you. Yeah, please. No, like I said, this is a great channel. Follow here. Follow us both, please. You know, there's room for both of us. You know, there's no competition here. There's no there's no worry about it. I'm in this just to bring out my game. You know, follow the Greyhawk channel and then follow Lord Gazumba channel. Please follow us both. It would be really greatly appreciated. But we're all here. It's a team effort. That's why we're all, myself, Mark, and 2 of his friends are all staying at the Greyhawk channel hostel at Gen Con, and we're gonna have a blast.
Yep.
So
Where were those guys?
yes, Mike, are you coming?
No, not yet. Not yet. I used to be a regular at Gen Con.
I was just going to say you were the one holding up the flame and the banner of Greyhawk and hardly it was like a small little gathering. And I remember the first time I went to Gen Con like 6 years ago, we were like 5 people, I think, and or 4 or something like that. So yeah, but it's now might be the biggest get together in a decade. So yeah,
I have some great news. I was worried about next March. I had a conflict with a work trip, but I don't. I checked it out. So I am in for GaryCon for next year already. I have it all set up, got the room, everything. Cool. I'm in. So let's hopefully we can do the same thing you guys did last year. I'm in. I will participate in however I can for that.
Yep.
We have a Future of Greyhawk group that all 3 of us are involved in. Alan Groh, Carlos Lysing, Brian Blumklotz, Christoph, couple others.
Yeah, we like, what was it, 12, 15 people or something like that. That we kind of keep on Discord. We keep kind of update a little bit what we're doing, try to coordinate things and see, like for GaryCon, we did a seminar together
Will's
and stuff. So
too. Yeah, Will's involved too.
Yep.
So we're trying to get bring Greyhawk back to the masses in publication for Wizards of the Coast. That's the goal, right? So
yeah, we'll see.
Day, hopefully.
We'll see. The Saltmarsh that came out, I forgot who, very recently. So that one was kind of a little bit of a light feed into the setting again. So yeah. So, but
I don't know, Lincoln. I don't do a whole lot of cons. I used to do Gen Con annually. But that was more when me and my friends were doing podcasting. But since we stopped going to Indianapolis, now we go to GaryCon the last 3 years up in Wisconsin. Other than that, I don't go to any other cons.
For me, it's 3. Gen Con now, PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, and GaryCon. They'll be the three I do.
Yeah.
Gen Con, if I find it be too crowded, maybe I'll skip that one in
That's
2020.
so tough because I love the crowds. I
Yeah.
love being around that with your people, and then
Yeah.
Gen
but
Gen
then you
yeah.
realize, crap, this is I
Yeah.
can't get in this hotel, I can't get in this game.
Yeah. Gen Con is kind of, it's like going to Vegas. Everyone should go there and experience it at least once, I think,
And
because it's
that's
such an awesome spectacle, and the sheer numbers of it, and how big it is, and you can go around in the exhibitors hall, and you basically get the whole business side of the whole everything, everyone that is selling something for role-playing games in one big giant room. It's just amazing. If they're and
At
yeah.
GaryCon though, Jay, you're gonna meet a lot of TSR people.
Yeah, exactly. GaryCon is a completely different show with that kind of old feel, and much more homey. People go around socializing, and you do a lot of people sitting and gaming a little bit here. Some cool, lots of cool seminars of how things used to be, and good stories, and a lot of cool stuff like that. So
well,
yeah.
Can't wait.
Ryan just said he's going, so
I realize I need to get there too somehow. Then,
Yeah.
so I just have to bite the bullet and go again, because it's one of these things. I realize I just have to. So yeah, and I'm going to usually the years I go to GaryCon, PaizoCon, Gen Con, PAX I've been to, and then I go to Strategicon, OrcCon, and then this year I'm doing Gamehall Con too. But most of
Nice.
the cons I'm actually working in one way or the other, so I'm not have to thankfully not pay for all of it myself. I get the badge and the hotel and stuff, so that way I'm volunteering, so I get a chance to. Otherwise, I couldn't afford to I have to spend $2,000 on going on all the cons, so I get some of the money paid for, so to speak. But this year it's going to Gen Con is going to be fun. And I have to say one thing, and I also have to say I'm so sorry, because I'm going to have a mapping seminar at Gen Con this year, a 2-hour seminar.
Nice.
Yeah, the problem is that it's already booked full. It's booked full before I even knew when it was supposed to be. And it's my friends over at Gryffindor Games. They were going to arrange the seminar, and they're going to so on. And then I didn't think about it more. And they arranged it, and then they came and said, "Oh, it's already full." And we said like a room with 40 people. I think it was 3 years ago, I had one in Strategicon down in LA, near LAX. I had a seminar because people were kind of interested. 7 people showed up, and they weren't particularly interested. So I never thought I could fill 40, and all of a sudden it's kind of bursting over the seams. So we'll see, and I promise that my patrons, I'll get them in one way or the other, and we'll see if we can get more chairs in, or if we have to change something. But it's in the now you can find it. Unfortunately, you can't sign up to it because it's already booked full. And so I'm really, really sorry, because I didn't know I didn't know the time before, and then it was filled up. So I'm kind of just intrigued and amazed that I could fill a room with 40 like that. So yeah. So yeah, somehow we'll see if we can record it. So yeah, I'll see if I can bring my camera and a tripod and get a microphone and stuff in, so we can.
If you can record it, then you can premiere it on your channel.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
not a
and
problem.
otherwise I'll make sure that all the presentation material I have, and I'll run a Twitch show afterwards and show all the same material and put it out there. If I can't do a live recording that is of good quality, I'll make sure that I have a Twitch show when I get back home from Gen Con, and I'll also have all the presentation images and stuff like that. I'll put that on my website and stuff. So worst case scenario, you will get a version afterwards on Twitch, basically going over the same thing. So that's the worst case scenario.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Carlos says he asked for power at our game, so I'm going to try and record ours. And he said, Carlos said it's hit or miss on the sound. So hopefully our 9-hour session will be recorded, and then we can premiere it on both his channel and mine.
That will be.
I hope so, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Now GaryCon, Anna and I have been talking a lot about GaryCon, and Anna said, I was thinking to myself, do I one time ever do the diamond be one of those guys. And she said, "You're not a fanboy. You're a DM. Don't do it." So I was like, "Oh, okay, all right. I was seriously thinking about doing it, but
Yeah.
I think I'll just go with a standard or
Yeah,
one step
and
up or
I'll
something like
see
that.
next year at GaryCon
Yeah.
if I can have a separate map presentation or cartography, have a separate seminar or something at GaryCon. That might be, yeah. So I'll see if I can do that and make sure I get there. But there's a few more months hopefully before I need to finalize any plans of that. But let's, Mike, have you been up to anything now? Yeah,
Uh, well,
any
first
cool
off,
kind
I'd
of
like to
projects and yeah.
Lincoln asked a question about attending cons that
Hmm.
Carlos started to answer, and he's right. You should start a smaller con like Gary Con, Game Hole Con, whatever. Uh, Take part in a couple games. Uh, you'll meet some people who you'll find out you'll meet some people that will live near you or go to the same cons as you. Kind of build on that. And then you go to your Gen Cons, your bigger cons.
Yep.
And then you might decide, well, I can run a game at a con or something. I've never run a game at a con, but I'm more there to meet other people, I guess.
Yeah.
So you just find out what you're more interested in. So yeah.
It's it was I got there and I was a little panicked at PAX when I first time I ever DM'd for anyone last year. Yeah, definitely. But it's just like anything, you get through the willies real quick, and then
It
you
was
sit
like when
down.
I went to a game
Yeah,
store and ran my first game when I moved to America. I never run a game in English before, so that was kind of
that's
a big
awesome.
thing from running the. Well, we used the same books, but we talked in Swedish and all that, and all of a sudden I had to run the whole game. And the funny thing when I did that, it was not the rules and those terms. I knew them in English. It was the kind of when you read the description about a room and stuff. That was the hard bit, and a little bit of that sinking around. But I got over it fairly quickly, and that was one of the cool things that I wanted to run live games when I moved here. So I ran a campaign for about 4 years, the first 4 years I lived here, and the players came and went. So it was basically a kind of continued story. That was my Alyssa Rel Devon based campaign, and so that was fun. So that got me up and running, and then I ran some Pathfinder organized play just to get my DM credentials a bit and stuff like that. But that was only when they needed extra DMs. I never actually run a game at a convention here in America. I've run games at Swedish conventions back in the day often because I was part of organizing conventions back like 20, 30 years ago.
It's I don't know how they do it with the size of these conventions. It's insane how big some of these things are. I mean, I went to PAX and I was shocked how,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, how
Yeah.
much stuff was there.
Carlos
You
asked.
know,
Oh, sorry. Go on.
good.
Yeah,
No.
Carlos asked, can we expect a GaryCon game this year or well next year? That is kind of interesting. I'm planning to do a campaign based in Shieldlands in my campaign in Shieldlands in 98, 99. So so that's something I'm planning to do. And the first culprits that I will open it up for will probably be online playing for my patrons. So that will be the and that's something I plan to maybe start something in December. But it will be cool to run a session of that at GaryCon. That might be a cool thing to do. Yeah.
How about this, Carlos? If you and I are successful with this 2DM thing, we run a tournament style one at GaryCon with all of us DMing a 4 hour session.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. I mean, that would be pretty fun. So maybe we do something like that. Yeah, see, he likes it. I mean, and then another published one possibility for you, Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
I would be more than happy to participate in that. I think it would be a blast. Of all of our own unique styles, everyone gets to see different play style. That'd be a lot of fun. But I'm having so much. I mean, I look
Yeah.
back on the time frame, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad I did this. And then I think to
Yeah.
myself, I kick myself, man. I waited till I was, till last May. It's only been a year now to start, but
Yeah.
then
But
again, I don't think I was ready
no,
before
but
that.
once you go out and start, it was like when I started showing my maps in public, and that kind of changed the whole ball game, and that changed it up one notch. And then when I moved to America and I started doing it full time and actually finished it, and started having more of a permanent online basis, that also changed it. And so it's kind of, once you if you're really passionate and do this and show what you do with the world, it actually changed your life. It did for me, and it was so kind of awesome when the art of the beholder, I think is the name of a video. It's a video that is on Amazon Prime Video, and you can rent it there or buy it there, and it's a video about the art of D&D.
Really?
Yeah, that so they interviewed artists that is done art for TSR and Wizards of the Coast and stuff for decades, and they had Darlene was one of the artists they interviewed, and she talked about how she did
Nice.
the map, and it's awesome. You have to watch that movie. It's fantastic. It's a documentary. They interviewed all the big names and a lot of not so big names that have had influential art that influenced and been part and published in D&D products over decades. And when they interviewed Darlene, she said that, well, the Greyhawk map changed my life. And it's kind of awesome because my Greyhawk map changed my life too, and so it's kind of awesome. So in a way, you can say if you do a Greyhawk map and you put a lot of work in it, it will change your life. And it's kind of, and you could probably do that for any setting map or some. If you go in and do art or something, and are really passionate about it and put your soul into it, it will change your life, and it's amazing.
I understand that completely. A lot of relatives and friends on the,
Yeah,
like, you've been doing this how long? You've
yeah,
been like, because you get passionate about something,
yeah.
and then you don't, it becomes just part of you. And I've had these friends for all these years because of it, and it's
Hmm.
just like
Yeah.
it is. And then I will say this, map wise, Anna, your maps have greatly enhanced my campaign and greatly enhanced our experience.
Yeah, but
So,
thank you,
you know,
but thanks to Darlene, I got into it, and
yeah,
I
oh,
love
absolutely.
her map still,
Yeah.
because, and especially for the calligraphy, that's the thing that
Hmm.
is so beautiful for me,
Oh, it's
because
awesome.
she's not primarily, in my opinion, a supreme cartographer, but her calligraphy is top notch.
Pretty
It's
sure
so
I tried to
damn,
learn calligraphy because of her.
yeah, it's so damn good. So that was and the map is not bad by any means, and especially considering the time it was done and the technology she had at her disposal. It's a pure a work of art, and as a work
Yeah.
of art, it will stand the test of time. It will always be an iconic piece of D&D art forever, more than my map will be. My map is not so
I
much.
agree.
Yeah, my strength of my map is more in the cartography than the artistic side, so to speak. So they kind of complement each other. So yeah,
It's
yeah,
that's
good.
one thing I'll
Yeah.
say about art.
Hmm.
One thing I wish I had, which is really stepping it one further, but it's too costly, is custom drawings of every character.
Yeah.
Mm.
That I would,
Yeah.
in the art world,
Well,
that would
yeah,
be.
you have to pay. You have to find some artist and then pay them $100 for each, or something like that.
At
They can do a
least, yeah,
sketch or
Mm.
that's
something like
one
that,
thing that.
depending on if
Yeah.
you want a little sketch or if you want some big full color art or something.
Well,
So
you'd
yeah.
hate me then, Jay, because I can draw, and I don't draw my friends' characters. And they
You
keep me sad.
should, yeah. But I'm sure that someone who like Mike, you can do stuff like this. You can have that as a service and charge $75 or something like that, and you can probably get five a day to do or something like that. It might,
Maybe.
yeah, you never know. But there is a whole bunch of these kind of interesting opportunities now that didn't exist 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of them. But speaking about projects, I have a few just announcements, since there's been a couple of,
All right.
oh, like a month since we had our last episode. So the what I've been working on the past couple of months. Hang on a second. That was the I need to get the that was the wrong one. Hang on a second here.
See you later, Blake.
Yeah, I need I need to change the hang on a second here. I need to go here, and then I need to do
Be sure
this.
to check Tribality. Blake Ryan's got a lot of good articles on there.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
excellent.
There we go.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I'm sorry about this. I'm a bit rusty still with the technology here, so I didn't realize that I changed it on all of the settings. Yeah. So the past couple of months, I've actually been working on a new version, because when I started doing my Flanese map, it was on small 8.5 by 11 little sheets, and because my computer couldn't handle bigger ones. And people always asked me, they want the atlas back, they want these kind of small manageable pieces back that they can use the map. So now it's coming. And so I've made the whole map into 70 pieces, and this time they're not 8.5 by 11, they are 11 by 17, because I think
Beautiful.
that most people that have an inkjet printer, they can actually print 11-inch wide, so they can print 11 by 17. It's usually not difficult and expensive to have an 11 by 17 printed at your local Staples
Those
center or
things are
whatever.
amazing.
Yeah, so I've made it into, so I first of all, I chopped it up into 71 pieces, and I've also made sure that the names and stuff are on separate pages. So I usually took me about a couple of hours to do each page, to kind of make sure that heraldry was not cut off and stuff like that. So each page is adjusted. And then I created, there's the layout page that tells you what part of the map is on what page, and I created a cover page and a back page with some credit that all my patrons get their name on it, all my top patrons. And then yes, so it's coming, and my patrons have now had it for about a week, and it will come to everybody by the end of the month. So then it will
Sweet.
be downloaded, and it will come in JPEG and PDF, and there will be PDF in either, you can get the whole damn, all the 70 something page, I think it's like 77 pages all in all, with the legends and all that, and the symbols and stuff.
Anna, can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Guys, gals, everyone who's on, it's $5 a month Patreon for Anna. That's
Well, you
it.
can have $1 a month and you will get this right away. So
Yes,
yeah, even
but
that. But $5 you
I,
get everything in source files
it's
and
$5,
Discord and
guys.
yeah.
Come
Mhm.
on.
Thank you.
I have one Patreon I do, and it's Anna. Okay, so
Thank you.
please
Yep.
sign up and make it a lot easier for her to do much more Greyhawk content.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm
just
so
my
happy
pitch.
because now I reached just over 200, so I can almost work half time on Greyhawk. So this year I will actually take the last, after Gen Con and the rest of the year, I will only work on Greyhawk. So now it's
That's
been
awesome.
kind of really, yeah, it's been since like March, after GaryCon until now, I haven't worked much. This is a side project that I've been running a little bit on the side, and I've updated my campaign maps, but I've only worked like an hour or two a day. That's about it, maybe. And I've worked maybe like 2-3 hours every couple of days. So it's been really spotty. So I'm really sorry
Yeah.
to my patrons that I haven't done much the past couple of months. But that will change this
Cool.
fall,
Coming.
because yeah, it's this
I know you're
fall. It
good
will
for
be there will be a glut coming out later this year. And Lendor Isles is coming along gently. Almost all the topography is done. It's now time to move into texturing. So I'm going to do the final high definition render, and then start moving into texturing. And I can tell already that map will blow everything out of the water that I've done so far. It's and I've done now working on 2 projects, commercial projects, one for Kobold Press and another one for Midgard. Or sorry, that's Midgard for Kobold Press, and
That
I'm
is
also
Midgard.
Griffin Lore Games, and they are now in the phase when they started moving into texturing, and there the resolution is nothing compared to Lendor Isles, but I'm
So you're
getting the
like, oh, that's
technology in.
snap.
Yeah, so it's Lendor
Awesome.
Isles will look awesome, but then I have to send it to Len, and then he might go back and forth a few times, because he might tell me that no, it doesn't look like that. So
Good old Leonard.
yeah, so we might have a hiccup there, so to
I'm
speak.
sure
So
you'll blow them away with
yeah,
the quality.
yeah, so we'll see, but I hope that it will be done sometimes this fall or this winter. That will be a first version of future standards of maps. And what I'm aiming for is 100 feet per pixel. So you can use it for overland hex
Crazy.
crawls, and you can actually see what the countryside looks like. And then it's it's a little bit of a technology shift, and I'm going to spend like 2 minutes and talk about it. And it's something I'm going to write a blog post and some more explaining to my top patrons, because
Hmm.
there is now a huge technology shift. I've been using World Machine and Vue and a bunch of tools now for, what is it, better part of a decade, 9 years. And now there's a new set of tools, especially a tool called Gaia that is coming out. It's already come out. The problem is that there's a couple of features missing. You can't do enormous areas and you can't do rivers yet. But once that comes out, then creation and 3D terrain creation will be brought to a whole new level. And the way I've done is I've basically I've made World Machine do things it wasn't intended to do from the get-go, so to speak. So I kind of programmed rivers and stuff into it. And now the thing is that I don't want to do too much work with, hi.
Yes, I am a human being. I do have a family.
Oh yes, yeah. I only have Minnie, and she's hiding there behind my chair somewhere, so she barks at me. Yeah. So we have so I'm that's why I only wanted to do a small test area. Otherwise, I would have started doing Hipmona Land and a whole bunch of stuff in really high resolution. But I don't want to do too much in old technology. If there is much better technology, and we're talking a few months this fall, there will be enough. All the features that I need in order to work in Gaia will hopefully be in place this fall. So that's what I'm waiting on. So as soon as I have Gaia ready, but I will already do Gaia for texturing. So the Lendor I'll do for texturing, but the terrain building is going to be even more detailed in Gaia, way more detailed. So you can do all sorts of cool things. And I'm already starting to figure out how to do when mapping things that are impossible in the real world, meaning we're talking the abyss, hell, and stuff like that. So I'm already thinking about how you can tweak something that is actually bent this way, so you get like a big hole with the mountains pointing like spikes into it and stuff like that. So I'm already thinking about the technology wise. And I saw there was one British guy that worked on a similar problem for a computer game, and we have emailed back and forth a little bit, and he had some really cool ideas about that. So that's a project for 2 to 3 years in the future. But my kind of my kind of span of planning ahead is about 5 years. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And
I don't know. I'm doing 5 hours from now.
yeah, and that's one of the things that I want to talk, that I can say that I'm going to have a Zoom meeting for my patrons soon, and where I want to discuss, where I want to have a back and forth, because I want to have my patrons input in. Hopefully we could schedule that in 2 or 3 weeks, and on a Saturday or a Sunday, so as many people as possible
Cool.
can come, and we can have a meeting and we can kind of discuss where I should go long term, short term and long term, and with my project, and priorities, ideas, and what to do and stuff, because now all the technology is coming into place, and it's time to I want to know where I should focus, where people want me to focus. That's the idea. Yep. And now I even got Mordenkainen, the bot, to answer me here. So yep. Yep. So
In 4.5 hours, I'll be sleeping.
yeah. Yep. So that's me getting off the rails in mapping passion, so to speak.
Cool.
It's incredible that you have that much.
Well, I just
Brett,
I'm just like some people
idea.
love to create monsters or write adventure campaigns, or like adventure paths, or come up with new cool rule systems. For me, it's to visualize the setting. That's to visualize the game world. That's my passion, so to speak. And I love to try and tie it into all the other passions, so to speak. So it's kind of, yeah.
It all adds up, and it all increases
Hmm.
the flavor
Yeah. Hmm.
of
Yep.
Greyhawk, and that's what's so cool
Yep.
about it. I mean, look, I have Brian Blumklotz's heraldry
Hmm.
on a shirt
Yeah.
now,
Yep.
and thank you, Brian.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I got these ready for Gen Con. So I
Yep.
got the Order of Ulix symbol right on my shirt now when I'm
Or,
DMing. So
Yep.
um, it's pretty neat. Just everyone has an ability or trait, and they bring it to the table, and
Yep.
it all adds up
Yep.
tremendously,
And we have,
and that's what's so exciting.
yeah, I have one comment here from Ushia Tam.
Uchamala Master.
Yeah, Meister in 2018. Yep. 3D Studio Max has some really
ah,
cool stuff, and I'm looking into what 3D platform me and a friend of mine, Linda Booth, we have worked with Blender, and I've worked extensively with Vue. But Vue can also work with 3D Studio Max. So hopefully I can marry Vue and 3D Studio Max fairly soon. And because I want to go whole hog. The Vue part is the terrain, and 3D Studio Max you can do objects and stuff. Because we want eventually to move into city mapping and stuff. So you move in one
cities.
scale closer, so to speak. So that's the cost for
Mm.
all the, but I already pay about $200 a month on software. So that's the that's roughly my monthly subscription
That's
on
your
software.
career.
Yeah.
That's your
So but
career, though.
when I have it as a job, then all of a sudden it's not that terrible of a fee. That's why I need use the Patreon money to pay for stuff like that and computer upgrades and stuff. So yeah. So that's the basic. Blender is kind of a cool tool too, and getting better. And then we have game engines, and there's a
Mm.
whole new world of tools that can make this happen coming right now, so to speak. They've been coming the past 10 years, and now there's a whole new generation of them coming. And I try to jump on the bandwagon and learn them as they come. And also, but the thing is that it's like when I started doing my Flanese map 20 years ago, I kind of committed to a style, and then you have to kind of see it through. And that's why I don't want to jump too early. So I do a couple of test areas, and once I know that this workflow works and it creates good results that are useful for DMs out there in the world, then I will jump on and we can start mapping the Flannies again, and Hepmona Land, and others, and also the mapping of Worth, and to kind of figure out where the different
Yeah.
Okay.
of the different parts of the world, where the Flannies and the other continents are. That's the other one that goes in the back burner a bit. So I post it to my patrons, and I post it on my Facebook group, and to get a bit of a response to see, because I want people to complain now, and so I can have a chance to fix it before we kind of dig in, because it's much harder to, once we figured out and decided that the Flannies is here and the Lendor Isles are there, then it might be much more tricky to change them afterwards. So once we have to, so I have about a year to figure out the overall layout of Earth, and then
They
we have
see.
to have some
Okay.
votes on it. Someone is having fun. That's awesome.
Yeah, Shane is my
Yeah.
son is having fun. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep.
Yes.
But
Yep.
now I've been
Absolutely.
babbling 10 minutes about my maps again. So
Oh
so yep.
man,
So that's the
that's what
Cool.
everyone
yep.
wants to see.
Yep. No,
Yeah,
not everyone.
absolutely.
So there will be yep. Yep. So that's the bit of it. So I'm sorry that the updates and stuff has been spotty at best this spring, but it's simply because I have two big commercial projects or commissions that I'm working on, and they will be done June, July-ish, somewhere. Hopefully they will all be done and wrapped up by Gen Con. That's my goal.
Awesome. Cannot wait.
Hmm.
Because we got some stuff in the fire too.
Yes. Okay. So
Absolutely.
have we missed more things in chat here?
No, but
Yeah.
one thing I'd like to discuss is what's going on, if it's okay, right now in my
Sure. Yeah.
campaign.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All
Please.
right.
Yep.
So we've been running. Can you bring up the big map? Can you bring up the map of the Winchester's Bulwark map?
Yep.
It's the Pomars blown up. So, and I'd like to show. This is Anna's detail that really helps us with mapping, and so if anyone knows my front cover on my channel. It's a picture of Winchester's Bulwark, the Keep. We did an invasion there last September. We've done new first level characters built up there. They fixed the place. They did a whole bunch of adventures. Now I tied that in with a higher level group. Okay, so Winchester's Bulwark is on. Yeah, you see Winchester's Bulwark, Warmonger's Tower is that big tower that Bill crafted. We showed earlier. And then Orog's Mound is a site that is we may use in the future. We used it in a previous adventure. You cross over, but see Watch 1 and Watch 2, they are actually the Watchers Towers that the Order of Ulick built, Schliemann Mill the Dwarf built 35 years ago in game time. Okay, and they've been out there all this time. So now they're finally getting attacked. They're impervious to magic. A magic user came through, did a whole bunch of stuff, but they're susceptible to physical attack. So we're on our last week of this 4-week event, and it's called Defense of the Watchers Towers. I brought back an organization from a Dragon magazine I used from Dungeon 9. It was the Dark Brotherhood, and the module was the Crypts of Astaris. That's how far back this goes.
Yeah.
This group was the antithesis in my campaign for years. Then I kind of got away from them for about 25 years. Kind of brought them back in this. So they're going to see some characters in this finale on Thursday I haven't shown in 25 years.
Dun dun dun.
Some nasty characters, yeah. And that's the map that Anna has so gracious to do it, and it's easy to blow up guys and snip once you want off of your screen. Snip tools is great, so I just blew this up, snipped it. It's part of all of our broadcasts now. It shows everything that we're doing. Hey, what's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Josh is another a great DM who does Greyhawk stuff. So cool. So can you put the one of the pics up with the two towers? It's the table. This is the finale of what we're doing, and this is for tomorrow night. And you can see there's death all over. I didn't remove any of the bodies for the most part. But there's corpses all over the place, and these towers are Miniature Building Authority towers. And show you that real quick, and then we'll
keep chatting.
Yeah, here we go with the. You will see it in a couple of seconds. Oh,
that's Warmonger's Tower. Trying to show the table. The table with the two towers.
Oh, okay. The table.
Just showing what we're doing. We're finishing up.
Yeah.
And so that's Warmonger's Tower and Swain's Keep. Swain's Tower that's in Altamira. Warmonger's Tower is on the map there that Anna did, and that Bill just finished crafting that last week, and he does some fantastic, unbelievable stuff. Yeah, it was. There you go. Okay, so. Look at the carnage out there. The keep, the ruined keep is the dwarf Princess of Ulick's keep that they never finished. Much slaughter around there. They're the two Watchers Towers. The final fight will take place here, and you notice there's geohex on the terrain. The towers are from Miniature Building Authority. One of my two site sponsors, Miniature Building Authority, is one. The underlay is Stratagem. They're my other sponsor of my channel, so I have two sponsors now. They do great things. They do great giveaways, and they're just it's a fun thing. Tie this in with Bill's Crafted, Miniature Building Authority. The figures, the plastic D&D monster figures that came out in the early 2000s, and we're able to do a really great battle scene. So this thing is high level, and it's kind of nasty, and it's kind of overkill, but
it looks fantastic.
Yep. Yes. So there are no hexes on there. The hex. Josh,
well, some of the terrain elements are hex based.
Hexagonal terrain elements, so you can put them together.
So you can mix and match, I guess. So you can more variety.
And we used that for BattleTech in the late 80s, and that's how long I've had it. And that terrain is, I tried to show everything we could do with it, and for this, and so this will hopefully finish this up Thursday, and then move on to something else. Because this will be week 4 of this big thing. But I wanted to show this just to show, Stratagem and Miniature Building Authority. They have great stuff out there, great products, and I use them, and that it's a good, it's fun. It's fun just to have access to this stuff, and let me see if I can reach it. One second.
Here it comes. Oh yes, he has some prices to hand out, and
So Thursday, tomorrow night, we're giving away 3 of these Rushing Waters 2D terrain sets. These have all rivers and lakes and stuff in it, and it's by Stratagem. So I'm giving away 3 of these tomorrow night.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 to subscribers, 1 to followers, just so to know that I want to bring our style of play out to other people, and I know it's a pricey world to do this kind of stuff. So that's what we try and do, giveaways every month. Stratagem does them every month, and NBA does them every quarter for us. So yeah, it's fun stuff, and can't wait to keep on doing showing the terrain we have in the game system, and we're sharing it with everyone. So thanks for that, Anna.
Yeah.
Also Sunday night is our talk show. We're going to talk about uh, great adventures, classic adventures, and old Dragon Dungeons, White Dwarf magazines.
Yeah.
But the week after that'll be good. The week after that'll be Greyhawk in general. So hopefully,
Mhm.
Mike, you can join us if you're able to. Anna's in, Will's
Yeah.
in, and
Mhm.
Brian Blomklotz is in so far. And we're just gonna take general Greyhawk questions to celebrate
Yeah.
50 shows.
Mhm.
So, but thanks.
That's great.
So,
Yep. I have one more that I've talked a little bit about the Lendor Isles, but here is the little preview. This is a low resolution
excellent.
render. Yeah, this is a render that is done in 1/8 of the resolution that the final render will
Oh,
be.
that's
But
awesome.
it shows, and this is just so this is an elevation color, and I've added the rivers and creeks into it. So some of these creeks that are blue like this is where they potentially can be. So some of these that leads to dead ends will disappear. So this just so I know where they can be, so to speak. But I've added this one matches the my existing map, but it adds way more detail. So we have up here I envisioned the Lendor Isles as being a very ancient volcano that kind of haven't been active for like 1,000,000 years or so. So here is a very eroded crater, and what used to be the crater is now a lake, and it drains out here. And you also have these kind of they are present on the other map, these kind of fissures that go, these kind of
It's
weird
awesome.
stuff that goes on, and these are actually a precedent. There are parts in England, and there are parts on the Azores and other islands that have volcano or volcanic, that they are these weird kind of fissures or length ridges that go through the landscape. So I enhanced them a little bit so they are kind of fantasy like to some degree. And then I've added the basic rivers that were on the big map are here, and then I've added way more of them. So there's lake systems, there are rivers and stuff, and this is roughly, I think that each pixel here is probably 1,000 feet or something like that. So they will be, yeah, or 800 feet or something. So it will be at least 6 times more detail in the final version. And then it needs to be textured and all that, because this is just simply elevation. The greener, the lower, and then it goes into yellow and then brown and finally white when it's really here are the tallest mountains and the tallest peaks are up here. So that's that's where the Lendor Isles are at the moment, so to speak. So, and just these islands here were only like 10 pixels across on my big map, and this one will be several thousand pixels across in the final resolution. So you can see the detail here and stuff, and they were you could barely see any detail on the previous maps.
It's so awesome.
Yep. So it can be fun. So this will be enough detail so you can run a whole campaign on Lendor Isles, and you can find different things. So there will be textures for forests and grasslands and all that stuff coming on this afterwards. But that will take shape during the fall, so to speak. First, this has to be rendered in real high resolution and then imported into Gaia. So that was a little bit more. Yep. Oh yes. Yep. Yeah. There will be a power drain when I start rendering this. Then whole half of California will go dark. Oh, thank you, Baboonski. Yep. This is. Yep. This is. Yep. It's going to be.
Yeah, so everyone, I just want to say thanks for such a huge audience tonight, and a lot of people
Yeah. Hmm.
probably for the first time coming on, and I really appreciate it. This has been a blast so far. Really had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now we
It's
have.
good. It's good not hosting.
Hmm.
Uh,
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been lazy and I've been on your show. What is it, like 5 times now or something? So
yeah,
so then I could take the easy bit.
6 in a week and a half.
Yep. Then we have I have from Ushiyamata Master. Again, 2018. Have you considered Renderman? Yeah, I have considered a whole bunch of different tools, and there's one of my thing is that I want to learn really how to use a tool, and if it's good enough and good at what I'm doing. But we'll see. 3D Studio Max is definitely on my radar to look into, and also to probably Unreal Game Engine down the line. But yeah, but it's there's a whole bunch of cool tools, but there's so many tools I already have to learn and learn new ones. So I try to learn a new tool every year, but that's as far as I can go, I think, and still keep up the day-to-day grind, so to speak. Yep.
Good.
Oh, man.
Besides, you always have something real life or gaming, and
Yeah.
a
Hmm.
lot of people, it's they say, well, you spend a lot of time gaming, and one thing you got to balance. It's just like
Yeah.
anything else.
Hmm.
You have to balance real life, family,
Yeah.
game together,
And
and then that and anything in excess is too much,
yeah.
right? But
One of
so
the benefits for me is that when I'm playing online, I can usually work while I'm doing it, and that's one of the
Mm.
beauties with
yeah,
it.
it's
I
pretty
can
cool.
I can sit, and especially if I do Photoshop and stuff, I can sit and do the occasional die roll and through Fantasy Grounds and then work at the same time, and it actually works really well. I can't run games and work at the same times, of course, but because that requires constant attention. But when you're playing a game, you don't have to constantly manage everything. So that kind of works really well. It keeps me at the computer and it keeps me focused on gaming and stuff. So it kind of helps.
Thanks, Baboonsky. The Grok channel has something going on every day of the week
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yep.
summer.
Yep.
I don't know if I have a copy of that schedule. I
It's on the
They
need to.
front
just
page.
started the
On the
new
front
Okay.
page.
schedule.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we are
Every day
kind
there's
of
like
the.
two or three different
Yeah.
shows.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
So hopefully we will have a chance to have DMs on from the other games and kind of have them talk about a little bit, and we can kind of
Yeah, it'd
interrogate
be
them
nice to
about
hear
their
about their
campaigns and
ideas.
and where they're set in Greyhawk
Ideas.
and stuff. So yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Josh.
Yeah, exactly, like Josh. Mm-hmm.
Horizon.
Absolutely.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep. So there is a whole bunch of stuff. So the and I'm planning to see if I can get my game up and running later this year. But I'm also a little bit in the bind what game system to use because I've run for in Pathfinder the past 10 years, and now I have a lot of tensions and people and events dragging me into 5e, and now PF2 is coming out that I'm really stoked about and really like. So I'm in kind of a try bind. Should I stay with PF1 and run it in that, or should I move it to PF2, or should I
Mm,
move over to D&D 5th? So we'll see. Yep.
mm. It's a tough
You
one.
know. You know what I think.
Yes, exactly. I think I should go back and do it old school. Yeah. Hmm.
I'm with
Uh,
you, Jason. I'm a 5e guy now.
Yeah.
it's okay.
No,
It
I go
doesn't.
back to 1E. I played
All my
1E. Yeah, I played
Christian
1E
friends
now and then, and actually the past 10 years, and it always feel it's nostalgic for me and fun, but it's not. It doesn't do what I wanted to do when I'm running my games. Yeah, 5E might with some tweaking and stuff, and I know that PF1 really works well for me, and I think PF2 will work even better. The problem is that I also want to tweak, put in some house rules, and I also want to have a digital set of tools that will help me run the game that I can tweak and put in the Nistel, the Greyhawk spells, the various kind of I use magic items and stuff like that. I want to have the gods of the Flannies and stuff inserted into it. So there is some that's the technical side of it, and it's the rule system itself.
Yeah, I just agree with Jason just said. I see the need for 5e
Mm-hmm.
out there
Yeah,
for all the
definitely.
people. Absolutely, it's easy to get into.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to play.
Yep.
It's more
Yep. Mm-hmm.
RP.
Yep.
Absolutely. But just it's okay. I'm too vested in my 1E2E and
Well,
our
yeah,
own
and you
custom
tweaked
rules.
it
So
into
yeah,
to perfection for what you wanted to do.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so that then you should stick. And also, I think any game system, if you're passionate about it and you're skilled in running it, and you have tweaked it to, then that is the best system for you. And I'm I've been playing in your games, Jay, and it's awesome. You've done
Thanks.
it into it's perfect. It's yeah. It's not the game system I would use to run my Greyhawk campaigns because I run them a little bit differently. But on
Oh,
the
sure.
other hand, I don't think I would really like to play in my own campaigns that much because when I'm a player, I have a completely different mindset and
Right.
I want to do it differently than when I'm running games. So I'm way more I'm selfish when I'm running games. Then I'm the one running things and so on.
Mhm.
So then I'm more king of the table. When I'm a player, I love to be that kind of going around helping out and be the kind of assistant character. I don't
You're
want to
the
be
utility character. I mean,
exactly. I love
Yeah.
to play utility characters because
Mario was behind the scenes in
yeah,
that fight a
yeah,
lot. I
and that
remember, and
that's
it
what
was
I
totally
do. I love
yeah,
to play
yeah.
rangers. I love to play bards, and I love to play paladins and things that
Cool.
not the front. Well, paladins are kind of frontline, but I don't want to play the ones that the campaign hinges around. I want to play characters that are just there and part of the party.
And that's kind of what you like. A couple things that I do. I actually play NPCs in the group,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of
Yeah,
DMs don't do that, but I do it for direct interaction with the group.
yeah,
And they used to be I've depending on who the players were, it kind of evolved into the utility characters
yeah,
because just you don't need the powerful frontline guys as an NPC. You need a utility character who can throw up a heal. Maybe
yeah.
the triple class cleric, mage, thief, of the world or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the
Yep,
utility characters.
yep.
So, can I say one thing about DMing?
Oh,
Is that
definitely.
okay? Okay.
Please.
So, anyone who's watching, one thing I learned after all these years is that you're only as good of a DM as your players are in your group that and how they appreciate your play
Mm-hmm.
style and how it works together.
Yep.
So take advice from your players,
Mm-hmm.
be flexible. Sometimes you may have to kill off a character, but don't do it out of being vicious. Do it because it's part of the game. But work with your characters, your players, to better your game. And if
Mm-hmm.
that means making a minor change here and there, customizing something, taking their ideas and running with them. This whole campaign setting that we've just started was started with an idea from Bill. He came up with this idea and I ran with it and we developed it. And you got to take advice from your group, and that's how your game grows over the
Mm-hmm.
years. And that's how your friends get vested
Yeah.
in the game, and then it grows and grows and grows. And that's the
Yeah.
key, is to listen to your players. So
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say that.
Oh yeah, that's
Interesting.
very good advice. That's I
Thanks.
should have taken it way more than I have. So yep, I should have done it. But it's perfect advice to really
Thank you.
and it's kind of the and the main goal is that everyone should have fun. The
Absolutely.
thing is that
Absolutely.
one of my experiences is that players might not necessarily know what makes the game fun for them. So that's part of excuse me, that's part of the art of being a DM is to figuring out the secret desires of the players before they even realize it themselves. So you can kind of if you can elevate the game like a movie that kind of takes them along, so to speak. So you should try and bring out the meaning the characters need some hardship and the campaign
Sure.
need to be tough at times and so on in order for the players to be invested and it needs to be risky and scary at times and then there should be a reward, meaning the players can go in and nail that bastard who been frustrating them for 3 sessions and stuff. So
But do you have this happen too? And I know we do this on the talk shows. you sit around with your friends over a beer and you just sit around and you talk about old adventures
Mm-hmm.
and what
Yep.
happened on them and old
Oh
experiences,
yeah.
and that's
Yep.
kind of like what you're building. You're building memories of a
Yeah.
fantasy setting that become almost like a focal point for a
Yeah.
discussion,
That's the
hanging
beauty
out,
of
and
having
that's
a regular
yeah,
game group. Back in Sweden, I used to have that for at least
yeah,
like 20 years. We had a game group. Some people came and went, but that was like a core group of players. And yeah, we just did like that. We you could sit out and we can go out and somewhere and just babble when there was no gaming going around, and we just talk about the previous sessions, ideas, and what worked and what not worked. And yeah, so that's the really cool thing. That's the beauty of having a game group, because you can have that feedback. If you just play with strangers on a convention, and then you never get a chance to have that feedback between sessions and build for the future. That's the sad part of gaming at conventions. The good part of gaming at conventions is that you get a chance to game with others who are often very experienced players and DMs, and they bring new ideas to the table. So you get, like, the world opens up to you. So there's drawbacks there positives and negatives with gaming, either with a core gaming group and going to the convention. So in a way, you should have a core group that you play regularly with, and then you should go into conventions a couple of times a year and play with strangers,
yeah.
and that you get the best of both worlds, I think.
It's been a blast last year. It's
Yeah.
been an
Mm-hmm.
absolute
Yep.
blast, and
Yep.
I would have never met any if we didn't bring it out. I would have never met any of you, and that's the
Exactly.
great
The
thing.
same thing
You've
with me.
made
And
new
and
friends.
yep. Mm-hmm.
It's been great. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot more people at Gen Con and having so much fun.
Yeah.
And down after Gen Con, I want to talk, but I was thinking about doing something for PAX Unplugged because it's in Philly, right at my back
Mm-hmm.
door. I
Yeah.
tried to. It was last second. I tried to reach out to Shane last year, but maybe I could host something here at the house, in the basement,
Yeah.
and actually do a game right here
Oh,
during PAX
I
Unplugged.
would say that's on my bucket list. My gaming bucket
Yeah.
list is come to
Right.
you and play in your basement. That's
Yeah,
high,
so I
very
could
high on my
probably
bucket
I
list.
could
Got the draw.
I could handle a lot of people. I think I
Yeah.
already cleared it with the wife. I think that would be an awesome time. But yeah, let's consider that. That's out not until December. But after we get through Gen Con, then we can talk about PAX Unplugged and
Yeah.
what's
Mm-hmm.
coming out. Maybe having a
Yeah.
big shindig here on one night.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just playing till do it like we used to play till the sun comes up. Oh,
Yeah. Well, we're not
like
20
like
anymore,
Nas
but yeah,
does.
we're not. Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. Like Ness does every 2 weeks, but he's in his 20s, and you can do stuff like that when you're in your 20s. When you're in your 50s, then playing into midnight is kind of, yeah. Then you're getting like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah. But
great
it's,
show.
yeah, it's awesome. So
This is a
so
fun
let's see.
time.
Do we have any more questions and stuff from chat and more
Mhm.
kind of cool ideas and things? Because I think we covered a lot of interesting, cool bases, and it's been awesome to take a peek at your campaign and your
Thank
basement
you.
and the story behind it. It's amazing, and it's kind of something that it's something that a lot of DMs can aspire to get that kind of game space and build an ongoing campaign, to find a core group of players friends you can play with. It's just amazing. And also, to what I think that we didn't talk in detail, well, you mentioned it with the binders and stuff, that you actually record and keep your campaign well recorded and
Yeah.
organized and so on. That, I think, is another piece that I think important part of your success, is that you actually keep record of it, and you put
All,
notes and binders
all
and stuff.
854 adventures are logged.
Yeah, see,
With
do
yeah.
you
So
assign that to players to write?
no, it's basically just a log showing the adventure name,
Uh-huh.
and the mercenary group, because we have 19 different adventuring groups we have right
Okay.
now
Yeah.
currently active.
Yeah.
There's 19, yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone has at least two characters in them. We have what's
Mm-hmm.
called joint experience groups
Yeah.
too, where they can if the character doesn't go, everyone gets experience. That way, it's leveled out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind
Yeah.
of we do a couple different things,
Yeah.
just depending,
Yeah.
but
W-
and that
w-
doesn't count the Order of Ulick. There's 211 members in the 212 in the Order of Ulick.
Wow.
Probably 100 and some are active.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, half, yeah. It's but Order of York members could be members of adventuring groups too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So the Order of York's the knighthood, but they could be a member of the Shieldlanders group, but it could be a member of the Iron Brigade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
It's
so
all
yeah,
of them combined,
some
so to speak.
crossover
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, one of
But
the things that I did for my Alyssa campaign when I didn't have core group of players that I knew personally as friends, but that we only met at the game store when we gamed, what I did was that I said that players who hand in kind of they write down what happened at the previous session, and then I'll rate it and I give them XP for how well written it was, so to speak, or not in linguistic terms, but cool insights and stuff like that, and they can earn up to 1,000 XP. So and I got some of them were so damn good that I bet that the summary of it was better than the game session, because it was like a novel, and so I had to. So the problem was that I had to hand off 500, 800 and stuff like that XP to almost every character. So that became a kind of a mainstay. So it was fun. Yeah.
what's great now is Twitch leaves a permanent record.
Yes,
of,
you have.
because,
Then you can go back and you have the whole game session. Yeah, recorded. Yeah.
and sometimes I refer back to a Twitch. Twitch only keeps them for 60 days, but I have a YouTube mirror up that keeps
Yeah,
them forever.
then
And then I
mhm.
download every single episode,
Yeah,
no matter
then
what
you
it
can
is.
go
Talk
back
show,
and watch
and I
them
have them
again. And
all.
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's perfect.
You
Yeah.
need to have them
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
a permanent record,
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And
we've been
also, if you use a virtual tabletop tool like Roll20 or Fantasy Ground something, you can save the chat with all the die rolls, I think, as a text file, and you can put that in, and that will give all the chats and the results and stuff too. So yeah.
Josh, if you are a Twitch Prime member at 60 days, I would suggest, if you can, spend the money to get Amazon Prime, link your account to Twitch, it becomes Twitch Prime,
Yep.
and then you'll have 60 days on Twitch for
Yep.
your
That
that'll keep up your
Mhm.
yeah.
And you
Uh,
there's a lot
yeah.
of commercial ads and stuff you don't have to see either. So it kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And now I have someone here. I think it's about
Right.
time to wrap
That
up
was
here.
great. It was good.
Yeah.
We're about
2 hours blew by.
Yeah, and thank you
First
so
hour,
much,
you
Dave,
can-
for come on.
Second hour, gone.
Yeah. Yep. And it was fantastic. So thank you so much for everyone who's been in chat and cheered us on and asked
Yes.
awesome questions and good
Great.
comments and stuff. So yeah,
And
so
then
we're back for the third season. So we will be back again next week, but we will not be back in, I think it's 2 or 3 weeks. There will be one episode we're missing because I'm going to a wedding in Portland. And I will going to meet some Greyhawk people and some mappers and stuff on the way up and down.
And I will
So, yeah.
see everyone tomorrow night, 8
Mhm.
o'clock, for the
Yep.
finale of Defense of the Watchers Towers on Lord Gazumba channel. You're going to see a lot of carnage and you're going to see a lot of complaining, but that's okay. I may kill off some PCs or some
Oh,
NPCs.
That's awesome. We're looking forward to that.
Yes.
And
Yes,
we will be
thank
back.
you.
Yeah, and we will be back next week with more legends and lore. So thank you again, everyone, to that helped us out and watched
Hey,
the show.
Sprocket. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Check out my blog, greyhawkery.blogspot.com. I have a new article up currently on pirate fleets in the Flanaess. I think you'll like it.
Mike's blog is fantastic, guys. So it's just do greyhawkery.com, right? And
Mhm.
it'll
Yeah,
pop
I
up.
think it's Greyhawkery. I put
It's
a
very
link
detailed.
There's a
into
blog spot in there, but
yep.
yeah, you'll find it.
Yep. Greyhawkery.com. Yep.
Just random articles.
It's so cool. Yep. And I put a link to my website. You can reach it on ghmaps.net or
Okay.
annabmeyer.com. It goes to the same website. And I also have my Patreon site. I guess I can put a link to that before we leave too. So that
See
way
you all
you can.
soon.
Yeah. Mhm.
Bye.
There we go. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and Mike and me, we will be back next week. And don't forget to go to Lord Gazumba, to Jay Scott's channel tomorrow for tomorrow night.
And please follow both channels.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Follow both.
Yep.
No
Hey,
competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Greyhawk, any Greyhawk. See you
Yep.
soon.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks for the hospitality.